Hi, welcome to Lanas Jobillos. My name is Alba, and in this tutorial I will show you how to make these slippers with chunky yarn. They are very warm. Let's go with a step by step. We need 8mm yarn, nine mm needles. I used circular needles, but you can use straight needles, scissors, a cable needle, a yarn needle, and 6 buttons. To make the cable part, the top part, we have to cast on 19 stitches. We have to make a slip knot, and cast on 19 stitches. You can use the way to cast on that you prefer. Once we have the 19 stitches, we are going to start knitting. We make an edge of 3 rows of garter stitch. We have to knit the first stitch and continue with knit stitch to the last stitch. We make knit stitch to the last stitch, and on the last stitch we are going to make a purl stitch. We have to purl all the last stitches of this part. We have to turn and continue on the second row. We have to take the edge stitch, work the knit stitch in all the row, and remember, purl the last stitch. We have to make 3 rows with the garter stitch, with knit stitch in all the stitches. On the row number 4, we are on the wrong side. We have to start now making the cables. We have to take the edge stitch, knit 2, place a marker, now we start one cable with 6 purl stitches, 6 purl stitches, place a marker, knit 1, place a marker again because we start again one cable, 6 purl stitches, and we finish the row with 2 knit stitches, and remember, purl the last stitch. Now we start the row in the right side. We have to take the edge stitch, knit 2, and now we have to knit the 6 stitches of the cable. We have to knit the 6 stitches of the cable. Knit the stitch in the center, Knit also the next 6 stitches of the cable and finish this row with knit 2 and purl the last stitch. I explain you again how to make the rows in the wrong side. We are going to make always the same. Take the edge stitch, knit 2, purl the 6 stitches of the cable, knit the stitch of the center, purl the next 6 stitches of the cable, and knit 2 and purl the last stitch. We are going to make the same in all the rows in the wrong side. Row number 7. We are now on the row where we are going to make the crossing. Take the edge stitch, knit 2, and now we have to take a cable needle. We take the 3 first stitches of the cable, and leave the cable needle on the back. Knit the 3 last stitches of the cable, take the stitches on the cable needle, and we have 2 options. We can place again the stitches on the left needle, knit the 3 stitches, knit the stitch on the center, and now I'm going to show you how to make the other cable. Take the 3 first stitches on the cable needle and place the cable needle on the front part. Knit the 3 last stitches of the cable, and now we can place the stitches again on the left needle, or if we have a cable needle with 2 points like this one, we can knit the stitches on the cable needle. So knit the 3 last stitches, and finish this row with the edge with 2 knit stitches and 1 purl stitch. And we make the row in the wrong side as we explained before. Take the edge stitch, knit 2, purl the 6 stitches of the cable, knit the stitch on the middle, purl the 6 stitches of the next cable, knit 2 and purl the last stitch. On the row number 9 we are on the right side, so we have to take the edge stitch and knit all the stitches in this row, excepting the last stitch that we have to purl the last stitch. We have to knit all the stitches. In this row we are not going to make a crossing. So knit all the stitches and purl the last stitch. On the row number 10 we are in a row of the wrong side, so we have to take the edge stitch, make the garter edge stitch, purl the stitches of the cables, knit the stitch of the center, purl the 6 stitches of the other cable, knit 2 and purl 1. On the row number 11 we are again on the right side, and now we are not going to make crossings, so we have to knit all the stitches and purl the last stitch. And on the row number 12 we have to make the row in the wrong side as we explained before. We are now on the row number 13. Now we have to make a crossing. I have to knit the first stitch because I am changing the ball. Knit 2, take the first 3 stitches of the cable with a cable needle, leave the cable needle on the back, knit the 3 last stitches, knit the 3 stitches of the cable needle, knit the stitch on the center, take the 3 first stitches of the cable with the cable needle, leave the cable needle on the front, knit the 3 last stitches of the cable, knit the 3 stitches of the cable needle, and finish this row with knit 2 and purl 1. And now we are going to repeat the rows from the from 8 to 12, one in the wrong side, one in the right side without crossing, one in the wrong side, one in the right side without crossing, and one in the wrong side. So we have to make the rows in the right side, 2 without crossings, and 1 row with crossings, 2 with no crossings, and 1 with crossings. You can see the sample here. How it looks, the cables, and we have to continue making cables to have 34 centimeters. You can make it longer if you want, but you can see here that it is very elastic. Now we are going to make an edge of 3 rows with the garter stitch. So we have to take the edge stitch, knit all the stitches, and remember, purl the last stitch. And now in this second row of the edge we are going to make the buttonholes. We have to knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 4, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 5, knit the 2 following stitches together, yarn over, and finish this row with knit 2. Continue with the third row of the edge with knit a stitch in all the stitches, and now we are going to make the last row, and now we have to bind off all the stitches. Remember how to bind off. We have to take the edge stitch, knit 1, and pass the first stitch over the second stitch. Knit 1 and pass the first stitch over the second stitch, and we have to bind off all the stitches. Once we bind off all the stitches, we have to cut the yarn and leave a long tail for sewing. And now I am going to show you how to make the bottom part of the slippers. We have to cast on 31 stitches to make the bottom part. Cast on 31 stitches. Remember that you can use the way to cast on that you prefer. On the first row we have to knit the first stitch. We have to purl 14 stitches. We have to place a stitch marker, purl 1, place a stitch marker, and purl 15. We start now on the first row in the right side, where we have to make increases. We have to knit from back on the first stitch. Remember, we have to knit the first stitch. We don't move the stitch of the needle and knit the same stitch taking the back loop. So we made an increase. Knit to the first marker, once we are at the marker, we have to yarn over, knit 1 and yarn over. And we have to continue with knit a stitch to the last stitch. Once we are at the last stitch, we have to make a knit from back again. Remember, knit the first loop, we don't move the stitch of the needle, and knit the back loop of the last stitch. We have one increase at the beginning, one increase at the end, and 2 increases in the middle. In the row on the wrong side, we have to take the edge stitch, purl all the stitches to find 1 yarn over, purl all the stitches to find 1 yarn over, once we are at the yarn over, we have to purl the yarn over but taking the stitch from the back to the front. We have to purl the yarn over from the back to the front. Purl the stitch on the middle, we find another yarn over, so we have to purl the yarn over from the back to the front, and continue with purl stitches to the end. We finished the row 3 in the right side with 35 stitches. We have to start the row 4, the row number 4, with a knit from back, knit to the stitch marker, knit stitches to the stitch marker, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, and knit to the last stitch, where we have to make again a knit from back. On the row in the wrong side, we have to repeat the same. We have to take the edge stitch, purl all the stitches to find one yarn over, we have to purl the yarn over, taking the back loop from the back to the front, purl the 3 stitches on the middle, purl the yarn over, remember taking the back loop from the back to the front, and purl all the stitches to the end of the row. On the row number 6, we finish the row number 5 with 39 stitches. We have to start the row number 6 with a knit from back, knit to the stitch marker, knit stitches to the stitch marker. We have to yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, and yarn over. Remember, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, and yarn over. And we have to knit to the end of the row, where we have to make in the last stitch a knit from back. And we finish with 45 stitches. We have to make on the rows 7, 8 and 9, we have to work the stackinette stitch. Now we are on the wrong side. Remember, in this row we have to purl the yarn overs from the back to the front, but we have to work normally the rows 8 and 9 with a stackinette stitch. Now we start the decreases in the row number 10. We have to take the edge stitch, knit 18 stitches, and now we are going to make 7 stitches in the central part in all the rows. We are going to make now this part. We have to knit 6 stitches, and we have to make always the stitch number 7 together with the next stitch of the needle. So we have to knit 2 together, the stitch number 7 and the following stitch of the needle. Now, instead of continue working on the same needle, we have to turn take the edge stitch, purl 5 because we are on the wrong side, and we have to make the same. We have to count that the stitch number 7, I remove the marker. We have to make the stitch number 7 with the following stitch of the needle. We have to, in this case, purl 2 together, the stitch number 7 and the following stitch. We have to turn again and repeat the same. We have to take the edge stitch. In this case we have to knit 5, and we have to knit the stitch number 7 together with the next stitch of the needle. Now we are in the row on the wrong side, so take the edge stitch, purl 5, and remember the stitch number 7, and we have to purl the stitch number 7 together with the next stitch of the needle. And you can see now that this part is taking the shape of the part of the fingers. I show you one more time how to make the stitches, how to make the decreases. Take the edge stitch, knit 5, in this case we are in the right side, so we have to knit 5, and work together the stitch number 7 with the next stitch of the needle. In this case we have to knit 2 together. We have to repeat the same 20 times to have 25 stitches on the needles. We are on the wrong side, so we have to finish this row working the purl stitch to the end. Now we are going to make 7 rows working the stockinette stitch. Seven rows working the stockinette stitch. Try to press this stitch to avoid a hole and continue working the 7 rows of stockinette stitch. Once we finish the 7 rows, we have to bind off all the stitches. Be careful in this part because you shouldn't press those stitches because it has to be elastic to place the boot on the foot. Once we finish to bind off all the stitches, we have to cut the yarn, leaving a long end for sewing. We take a needle and we have to sew the back part of the shoe. We have to sew the back part of the slipper. We have to sew with the needle. And continue with the bottom part, the sole. And now we only have to sew the part of the cable, starting in one side of the slipper. We have to sew the cable, the part of the cable. We have to take stitches from one side and the other side. And we have to place the last part of the cable on the first part that we sew. We have to sew together both edges of the garter stitch. We have to place the part of the bottom of the buttonholes on the top, and we only have to sew the buttons, and we finished the shoes and we finished the slippers.